Hey guys, happy Thursday evening to everybody. This is going to be really weird lighting because it's like 6:30. The sun is going down. There's not much light left, so it is what it is. But I wanted to pop on because I'm spending some time with Monroe, as I do a lot of times. Well, quietly, not making videos. It's just my own enjoyment of her during different times when I spend time with her. And it got me thinking about the very first moment I ever felt the, oh my gosh, I'm in love feeling with the Reborn hobby. And it makes me wonder, it makes me think about, like, am I chasing that feeling always? Are we all as collectors chasing that feeling? These are the thoughts that go through my mind because I find this very interesting. Because what keeps us buying new dolls, right? It's to feel that love, that excitement, that first time feeling. And I guess we could potentially equate it to chasing a high if you were, like a drug high, so to speak, but this is happy endorphins. That high we get from a new baby, a new box opening, a new love in our dolls, so to speak. And I just think it's very interesting because, I've been doing this for so long. And I'm trying to remember back to that very first feeling that I fell in love with the hobby. And it makes me ask you guys out there, do you remember the first time? Do you remember that feeling? Do you remember what it felt like? And are we ever re-experiencing that? Do we ever get that like level of happiness, that level of excitement? I mean, I know we all get excited for box openings, of course. When we're expecting a new baby, of course we have all of the feels and excitement and all of those feelings. But is it ever comparable to the very first time you experienced one of these reborn baby dolls? And I have to say, like, over the years, as attached as I am to this little girl and how much I love her and enjoy her, and same with little Junie and little Addie Mae, like in my past dolls, I don't know if it will ever reach the level of excitement and feelings that I had when I first got the very first one. And it has nothing to do with the caliber of the doll or the quality of the doll that you receive. It's just that very first moment, that very first experience of such a thing as a quote unquote reborn doll. And it's what hooks us. It's what hooked me. And even though my first reborn, I've shared my first reborn because I still have it because it's hideous. It wasn't even what I would call a reborn. A lot of you probably have seen the doll. Glued on wig. It's just, no, it was all of my no, but it's not the point. The point is it's what literally intrigued me to continue looking and continue to find something that looked realistic in person, to do better, to find the better. But that moment, that very first moment of anticipation of what am I going to find in the box that I spent a whopping $100 on, that I thought was spending a gazillion dollars on at the time. It's all relative, guys. It's all relative. I find it utterly hilarious that $100 at the time, at 25 years ago, was so much money to me to in my mind waste on a play doll, because it wasn't like the reborns were highly collectible dolls at that time, that just that caliber didn't exist. But the point was, when I got that doll, I'd never experienced any other kind of doll like that. And it's not because I had never purchased collectible dolls. I've had porcelain dolls, I've had cloth art dolls, I've had like all sorts of what you would call collectible dolls over the years. This was just a different thing and a different feeling. and it was weighted, and it was weighted with like a flour bag. I think it was a 5-pound flour bag sealed in, I think that's what's inside it. That's its whole torso. Still to this day, it's intact. I have to laugh about it because it's just so awful in comparison to what we see now. Like, you could have never imagined, I could have never imagined back in 1999, early 2000, what the Reborn art and hobby would become, and the excitement that has come and spread to so many collectors. Like, there was only a handful of us collectors in the very beginning, guys. It was just so small. There were the start of artists, of what we call doll artists now. It was just a different time, and it just makes me go back and reminisce to that feeling that hooked me, and I was so intrigued. And then that's when I found Linda Webb and her sculpting, and it just grew and grew and grew, and each doll led me to where I'm at now. It's just so interesting. So it begs the question, I'm asking all of you out there, do you remember the first experience, your first Reborn doll experience that made you go, whoa? You might have been a little freaked out. You might have been a little bit like, this is a little strange. This is uncomfortable feeling, that uncanny valley effect, and that's how you came in the hobby, or you just embraced it. Like, what was your first experience like? And are you chasing that same feeling each time you purchase a doll? And do you think that you achieve feeling that same feeling? Because no matter what I've had after the first one, it will never bring that feeling of the first one to me. The closest I can say to that would be a new medium. So it was vinyl, and then, and clay, one-of-a-kind sculpts for dolls that were what I first experienced, although it took me a long time to eventually get to purchase a really high-end clay one-of-a-kind. So it was mostly vinyls. But then when silicone came along, I'd say that when I don't want to call it the discovery, but the start of making silicone dolls in that medium, that would be the closest thing when I received my first full body silicone. Janica was probably the very closest I could come to that feeling of when I got my first doll, Reborn doll. And that was many moons later. That was like 10 years, 11 years in, 2011, 2012, 2011. And I had experienced silicone, but the full body silicone, now that was an all new wow factor, because that was anatomically correct. It was the first of its kind. Like, babies like this did not exist. So I'd say that would be the second closest to my very first doll, that feeling. And I just remember that experience. I can remember the feeling so clearly of what I felt when I got that doll. And since then, I just have not experienced that level of new, shiny, bright thing that you'd never experienced before. And I probably won't, unless some new crazy medium comes out and it feels even more realistic than what we currently have. But wow, what a truly incredible feeling that is. And I love to reminisce that feeling. Every time I interact with my dolls, I think that I'm always kind of in my head, kind of rethinking what that was like. Having those emotional pull, that excitement. And you always want to keep that alive. At least I know I always want to keep that feeling alive. And I think I've done a good job of doing that over the years. But I want to hear from you guys. I would love to hear from you in the comments. or if you want to make a video, you can do that too. Just let me know. I just would love to hear whether or not you can exactly pinpoint that moment and you can remember what that feeling was when you experienced your very first reborn doll experience. And are we always trying to relive that? Are you always trying to seek out and relive that feeling? And we're always chasing that when we're buying new dolls. I would say that I've settled on the fact that I know I'll never feel that first feeling again, and that's okay. I've had other wonderful feelings that I think measure up to that. They're just different. And I think that's why I thoroughly enjoy watching someone's first, like my favorite videos, I will say, of just unknown channels, people I do not know, is stumbling across someone's very first silicone doll experience. When a collector who may have been collecting for a long period of time and then gets their first silicone baby doll and they're just in awe. They've never felt anything like that. That is lovely to watch someone experience. And it helps me reminisce those same feelings I had when I first discovered silicone or the Reborn dolls in the very beginning. It's just such a cool experience, and it's something you'll never get back. That's why I always tell people, whether or not you're making a video or not, my friends will be like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make a video. Well, I'm like, well, it might be memorable you want to look back on. So even if you never post a video, maybe it's fun to have just watching you experience something for the first time, because it is truly, you'll never get your first back, right? You'll never experience your first after that happens. And it doesn't make our, the box openings following or the dolls that come thereafter any less special. It's just a different feeling. It's a different thing when you've already experienced it before, right? So I don't know, just these are the deep thoughts that Kelly thinks about as she's spending time with her dolls. And I think it's really interesting, and I think that's probably like that in every hobby, is experiencing, chasing that high of experiencing your first excitement. But once you've experienced you never get to experience it again, such as life, always chasing that first time feeling, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it's just really interesting, and I really, really enjoy seeing other collectors' firsts. When someone gets their first full body silicone doll, it's such a beautiful experience, and I'm always just so enthralled to watch and hear the excitement. Sometimes it's anxiety or concern or worry or nervousness. Like, it's all the things that someone feels when they've never experienced something before. It's almost scary, the experience. And I think it's just genuine, pure emotion. And I love to relive through the eyes of another collector, if that makes sense. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Monroe would love to hear your thoughts. She's just hanging out in this really cute vintage Gymboree little kitty cat sleeper and matching cap. It's not even, it's cooled off here. It's not like it's cold or anything, but I think she's super cuddly in this, and I just think it's cute on her because she's adorable. But yeah, we're just chilling tonight. Happy tomorrow is Friday and the end of the work week, and then we can get on with the weekend. Should be a beautiful weekend here and less hot than we've had previous weekends. But yeah, share your thoughts, guys. I would love to know. Do you remember your first? Do you remember that feeling? Tell me about it. Share it with me. And it could be your first Reborn doll experience or your first silicone experience. I mean, I just want to hear all the stories. I just think it's fun. It's fun to share these things. And yeah, gosh, the lighting is so weird while the sun is going down. It's so bizarre in here. So this is going to come across. She's going to be, I don't know, are you going to be super pink in this? It's hard to tell. Anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great rest of your Thursday. And please do share in the comments below. I look forward to hearing or reading about it. And I hope you have a great rest of your night, and we will see you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.